Hello guys, and you're welcome back. In our last lesson, we looked at an introduction to dictionaries and we saw how we could create dictionaries and also access some of the dictionary methods to display the key and values we have in our dictionary. Here in this lesson, we're going to actually work more on dictionaries and learn how to use for loops, and we'll learn how to also copy dictionary values into another value. And let's just get moving on with that. So I'll just hide this view and then let me create a comment right here, a document string, and just say for looping true for looping dictionaries. So now that I have this created right here, what I'm going to do is to for loop through that dictionary. So like we saw in the example, if we wanted to print our dictionary names, let's use the keyword for, and let's just call that things, and then we use the in. Then we'll provide the name of that dictionary. I'm using Ages Dictionary, and I'll just do a print and use our f strings and say we have, and then with our curly brace, I'm just going to say things in the dictionary. Yeah, so this is what our for loop is going to do. It's simply going to loop through our dictionary, and then it's going to print out the content in our dictionary, as we've seen right here. Wait a minute, let's see if we're doing, we need to see we have things in, so things, so why are we not getting that? So ages underscore dict, just save that and quickly run it again. We should actually see that value here, but we're not getting anything. We're just seeing this result right here. So what's something's actually wrong right here. So f string, we have things. So the problem is we won't actually see the information we have in this dictionary because we actually cleared the dictionary. So if we want to see the content in the dictionary, let's get rid of this information right here and then save this and run our script again. Then we should actually see that we have Amber, Peter, Nancy, and Aisha in the dictionary. So I had to quickly comment out this section where I'm clearing the content of the dictionary, and then that's why we're able to see this for loop. So apologies for that. I think that's my own fault. So we can also print the values using a for loop. So let's say print values using the for loop. So if I actually come here and let's just drag this, put this back a bit up. So instead of printing a single value, we could actually run a for loop. So let's say for vals in ages underscore dict, that's our dictionary. We're going to print out, and then to do this, we're just going to say ages, which is the dictionary name, in square brackets, and then we say vals. So if we save that and run, it's actually going to print out the value. So we have their ages right here, and if you want to make this much more readable so we know what it means, we'll just say the ages in the dictionary are, and then we could just pass in this as a value holder. And to complete our f string, we need to close this with a quote. And we'll just save that and run it. So I can see we have ages in dictionary are these values. This just makes it slightly readable so we can see what we're working with. So let's just save that and move on. Alright, so we can also loop through the keys. So let's just say for key underscore dict in ages underscore dict. So we could just say print the name of the dictionary, which is our ages underscore dict dot keys, and this is a method. So we could do this. This would also return the list of keys we have in that dictionary. So we can actually see these sets of keys. Now I did this wrongly. I'm supposed to pass in the argument right here. So I can just say print this value. I think the best way to, let's actually do this. Let's not print it that way. I want to print out the key underscore dict, but here in, I'm just going to say dot keys like so. I think this is a much more better way so that I don't see the results, come out strangely and then it prints out the same thing over again. So here we can actually see the keys in that dictionary, are being printed out. So we just type in the agesDictionary.keys method and then pass in that dictionary key that we want to use. Now, if this is all kind of confusing, you can watch the dictionary video right here. So it's an introductory video to the dictionaries, and that's the first part where we start from scratch. So in case this is kind of confusing, you can quickly jump to that. So how do we print both key and value pairs? So let's just say printing key and value pairs, and don't worry, in the code that's on the GitHub page, in case you're downloading this sample file, I'm going to heavily comment it so you actually won't get lost. So let's first say for k comma v. So I'm going to use k and v to represent key values, right, in our dictionary. So we call that ages underscore dict, and I'm going to use dot items. So what I want to do is to actually print out k and v. We could actually do this, and let me save that and run it. Whoops, so did you mean items? So let's get back here. I think I used item, not items, plural. So apologies for that, my bad. And I'll just run this. So we can actually see the key and value pairs have been printed out. So we can actually use a for loop to print both of these items simultaneously. So sometimes you might need to copy one dictionary into another dictionary. So let's just create a title and say copying dictionaries. So in case you want to copy one dictionary into another dictionary. So the way we do this is use the copy method. So copy method. Like so. So let's actually create a new dictionary for our game console like this one. Let's actually create a new dictionary and copy that dictionary into a new one. So the first thing we need to do is to create a variable to hold a reference. So I'm just going to say new underscore console underscore dict is going to be equal to our console. I think we call that game console underscore ps, and then we'll say dot copy like so. Excuse me, guys. So once we actually do this, we can, if we simply print out our new console dictionary like so, we should actually see this, the results right here. So we're actually printing out a copy of that dictionary. So in case you want to work with a version of a dictionary that has some content and you don't want to mess with the original dictionary, you can actually do that. The second way to copy, let's see a second method to copy dictionaries. So we could actually create a variable. So let's say console underscore info, and then we'll pass in the keyword dict, which is actually a class for the dictionary class, and then we'll pass in the dictionary we want, right? So I'll just do a game underscore console underscore ps. Right, so if we actually let's print this out and use an f string and say new console info is going to be equal to the variable console info. So we'll just close that curly brace. And once you see this popping up, to get rid of it, you just press the escape key once. It's just syntax highlighting. So I'll just save this and run it. And we can actually see our new console info dictionary right here at the bottom of our screen, which is quite awesome. So another cool thing about dictionaries is you can nest a dictionary within another dictionary, like we saw how we can nest a list within a list. So let's quickly see how we can do that. So to nest a dictionary within a dictionary, I'll just say nesting dictionaries, and I'll provide a template to actually show you how that's done. So I'll just click this and let's just drag this up. Oops. Like so. So now let's call this style A. Like so. So we would actually have the keyword dict to represent the dictionary, and then we use a colon with a curly brace, and then we pass in the key and a value pair, then comma. We'd actually have another. Let's say we have our second dictionary. So let's see, this is in here. Let's just do this properly. So I'll just say dictionary A, and this will be actually clear when we have that. So let's say value A, like so. And then next we'll have our second dictionary. So I'll say dictionary B, like so. And then we'll pass in our key value pair within our curly braces. So here I'll just say key B and say value B, and then use a comma. And then for the third guy, which is going to be our third dictionary, we'll say a dictionary, oops, DICT C, and then we'll pass in our key. So let's say we have key C, and then the value, say a value, cool, value C. So we have these sets, and if this is the last one, you don't have to use the comma again. So that's for style A. Let's look at style B, and again, we're immediately going to create an example so we can actually see these both ways in action. So for our style B, we're going to have dictionary A, which is going to be equal to a dictionary, and then we're going to pass in the key and value pairs within this dictionary. So to do that, we're going to say our key and then our value pair, key and then a value pair, comma, another key and then a value pair, comma, and remember your value pairs could be numbers as well, so they don't have to be in quotes. So we're going to say key A, and here say value A, and then we have key B, and here we have value B, and next we have key C, and then we have for the value C. Again, the values don't have to be strings. So once we've closed this out, this is our style for dictionary A. So let's just move this up. So if this is your first dictionary, let's just quickly copy this and paste that down here. And this is going to be dictionary B with its key B and value B. And then let's also create this one and paste that again and call that dictionary C. Now, when you're done creating your 3 separate dictionaries, finally, what you're going to do is to create all 3 dictionaries and merge them as key value pairs in a third dictionary. So let's see that example here. So I'll just say all 3 dictionaries, and this is going to hold a reference to all the three dictionaries, but as key and value pairs. So we'll actually see dictionary A like so, and then the value pair is going to be dictionary A. So for B, we're going to have our dictionary B with a value pair of dict B, and then we're going to have our key dictionary C with a value pair of dict C. Really sorry about that, guys. I'm sure this is quite boring, but let's see an example. So I'll just say example, and you actually understand that the example isn't really that scary. So I'll create a dictionary. I'll say my gaming consoles. So I'll create a dictionary like so. So for my first key, I'm going to say first console, and I'll set a value pair for the name of that console. So I'll just do this. All right, so immediately after I create that first console, I'll use a column and then I'll pass in a key value pair for that. So our key now is going to be the name of that console, and I'll pass in the value as Xbox One. Then let's use a comma. So I'll create another key value for the year, and the value pair for that year is let's say 2012. And then I'll create another key value, call that favorite game. That's the key, and then the value for this key is going to be Rayman Legends. So that's my first dictionary. Let's go ahead and create the second dictionary. So I'm going to close this. I'll just put this here so you can actually see where it stops, and don't forget the comma. So with that comma now, I'm going to create a second console, and just like I did the first one for my second console, I'll just repeat the same thing here, and I'll just save it. So I'll just pick all this and get down here and just paste all that. And for our third console, let's do the same thing because we're going to be doing this 3 times. So it's good when you do it once. That means you can have this information 3 times. So for my second console, it's actually a PS. So the name is going to be a PS. And then the year is I'm going to change the year to 1998. And then the favorite game for my second console is Gran Turismo. So for my third console, so I'm going to switch this to third. That's one disadvantage of copying. When you copy and paste, you would actually, you might miss out a name. So I'm just going to call this a PS2. I'm going to change the value to 1998. You can, okay, we have 1998. Let me just set this to 2004. And my favorite game for my PS2 console was Mortal Kombat. So you could actually use any name you actually have for that. So this is a dictionary called My Gaming Console that has 3 other dictionaries nested in the dictionary, right? So that's how you can have a dictionary nested within a dictionary. So just for a bonus, I'm going to create another example that shows us an example using bakery. So let's just see that last example, and look what I did here. I actually I'm trying to create a problem here, so I'll just go ahead and drop this right here to close that dictionary. So these are opening parentheses and now closing parentheses. So let's say we're using a let's switch over to games and jump to baking. I'll use this example for baking. So I'm going to create a variable called carrot cake, and the same thing, I'm going to create the key for this. So I'm just going to call that name. So it's going to be called carrot cake. I think I should just call this, let's just call this dictionary cake, because we'll have different kinds of cakes in the dictionary. So then I have my key. I'll use a comma to separate this. And the next thing I'm going to do is to create a key value called costs for the cost of each cake. And I'll set a value of, say, 3,000, comma. And then the last key I'm going to create is calories. And I'll set the calories to a value, let's say 0.34. So here we have an integer and here we have a float value. So that's one example for our cake. So let's create another example right here. So where I'm closing this guy, I'll just drag this and place this at the top. And I'll create another one, just as we have in our example. So here, so this is one, and let's switch this back to carrot underscore cake, because basically I'm going to create three separate dictionaries and then switch them. So this is the first one. That's 1, 2, and 3. So this one I'm going to call this cupcake, and the name is going to be cupcake, and the cost for the cupcake is going to be 5,000. So you can actually see when you create one, it'll be easy to create the other ones. So let's see, 0.54 calories, like so. And let's move down a bit and change this one. So this one we're going to call this a sponge cake, and I'll switch this over to sponge cake. For the cost, I'm going to set the cost to 8,000, and then for the calories, let's set it to 2,000, just to be funny. So now what we're going to do is to create one dictionary to store these three. So I'll say Fifi's cake gallery is going to be equal to. Now we're going to create our curly braces, and then we'll pass in these three cakes. So the first one we have is carrot cake. So the key is going to be a name that will just represent that. So I'll just say carrot cake, and then the value is going to be carrot cake. Now the value is going to be the dictionary. That's why it's blue. So the next one we're going to create is cupcake. So let's say cupcake. And the value is going to be the dictionary cupcake, and use a comma. And then finally, we're going to create one for our sponge cake. So I'll just say sponge cake, and then the value is going to be sponge cake. And remember, the last one we don't need to use the comma again. So let's actually save this and print out our Fifi's cake gallery super nested dictionary that has three other dictionaries in it. And there we have it. So we have carrot cake, and we have this one, cupcake, and then we have our calories, and we have sponge cake with these values embedded in it. And we can actually see it understands it's a dictionary within a dictionary, because we can see the first dictionary, and then we have these sub dictionaries that are stored within the dictionaries as well. And we can also use a for loop to loop through the items in the dictionary. So we can say for k, v in Fifi's cake gallery dot items. All right, so we can actually print the key and value pairs. Let's just save that and run it. And then we can actually see that result. Again, it'll be much more clearer if we used an F string. It will just list them out like so, like we saw in this example. But again, that's our dictionary running. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next lesson.